Okay, we'll start with the EMF of a cell. Previous class, just we had a rough idea of that. What do you mean by EMF of a cell? Here we'll go in detail now. What is a cell? How it will work out? Then what are the how to write KVL across a cell? If some internal resistance means what? Terminal voltage means what? Like so. As such, you know. So whenever cell comes, no. So there's a one basic example is what you can take it. In books what happened when they wrote the cell concept, no, at that time this dry cell is not available. What we had is Lackland cell, Daniel cell they were using. So later part what happened as the technology got improved after 1970s, the dry cells came into picture. Then we are widely using this dry cell only. We are not using the Daniel and Lackland cell, that one. So that's why in the books what happened, all the content is not yet still updated. Still it's some maybe 70 years old. We hardly get a discussion on this dry cell. But still we can take this an example to study. The overall mechanism is same. But the dry cells, the wet cells, the mechanism is same, but the working is also same, but the way what all your right equations will be a little bit different. Let me consider this one. So these are called as terminals. Means where you are utilizing the cell to connect to external circuit. So that particular points which you are using for external circuit, no, they are called like a terminals. So A and B are called as terminals. I think in the if you see it's some at this particular point some gap will be there, no? Or you can say some sort of hole will be there. So these are what we'll be using for the connection. These are called like a terminals. So here afterwards, what is this cell? Inside what pen there'll be material. Some material will be present. This material. So how there'll be flow of charge will take place. So what is the representation? There's a physical one. So the electrical representation of a cell will go like this. This is the EMF of cell. We use symbol like this. Huh? There's a symbol. EMF of a cell. There's the internal resistance. Now, what is this internal resistance? Resistance offered by the material of cell to the flow of charge is what internal resistance. So what is our internal resistance of a cell? So what it is? Resistance offered by a material of cell to the flow of charge is called as internal resistance. This one, and this symbol it is like a called as electromotive or EMF of a cell. Like this one, and VAB is called as terminal voltage. These are the terms which I'll be using frequently here. Okay, how do the working of this cell will take place? So inside the cell, the same diagram. So there's a terminal B, there's a terminal A. Take like this. So here what happened? Let's assume a positive charge. So inside what happens? Some chemical reaction occurs. Let's take electrochemical cell. So what is the electrochemical cell? The reaction, the chemical reaction will occur. The output will be electrical energy. So chemical reaction occurs. So due to chemical reaction, then an energy is available. That energy what happen will be utilized by the material of cell, and it will exert a force on this positive charge. And so this will be the force exerted by the battery. FB will write it. So from where this force will come, this force will happen it's available due to chemical reaction. Due to chemical reaction, what happen? Energy is available. That because of that energy, what happen? The material of cell will exert a force. So this particular charge now will move from the negative terminal to positive terminal. This will be negative terminal of cell. This is a positive terminal, or the plus sign and minus sign will be indicated. There's a work done by the battery force. So meanwhile, when it is moving here, when it is moving, the battery force will act here like this. What about the resistance offered by the material of cell? So this will be, you can call like a FR. The material here which is present will offer resistance to the flow of charge. There's one basic property, no? This will be, so continuously open as long as chemical reaction is taking place, continuously open, a charge will be shifted, positive charge will be shifted from negative terminal to positive terminal of a cell. So because of this, what happened here, a positive potential is developed at the end A, and a negative potential is developed here. So then, meanwhile, how long this flow of charge will occur? So continuously here, say positive charge is set up here, a negative charge is set up. How long this flow of charge will occur? As long as this battery force is greater than the resistive force. Meanwhile, so at one particular instant, so because of this potential open, an electric field is set up capitally. This electrostatic field is set up. This electrostatic field in what direction will exert a force? Will exert a force in this direction, called Fe. Okay, time being this resistance force, I'll take it out. And I'll introduce this to later on. What is Fe? As initial weapon, the moment you construct a cell, there what happen? The chemical reaction will occur. Due to chemical reaction, energy is available. Due to that energy, what happen? The battery will exert a force on the charge. The charge what happen will be shifted from negative to positive terminal. Because of accumulation of positive charge here, this end will be positive. Because of accumulation of negative charge, the NB will be negative. Then, as this charge moving, so because of positive charge deposited, you go to electrostatics. Will there be any electrostatic field is set up? This will be like one plate. This will be like one plate. So electrostatic field is set up. Now, a fresh positive charge, when it is moving, will it encounter any force due to electrostatic field? Yes, it will be towards right. How long this accumulation of charges will occur at the ends? As long as the battery force greater than this electric force. Once the battery force becomes equal to electric force, then no more further drift of charges will occur. In that particular instant, then a constant potential difference is set up. Okay, got this? So here I will define a quantity called as the like a EMF. So what is the basic definition? The EMF of a the electromotive force in the brief we write like this, EMF is the energy provided by a cell per coulomb of charge passing through it. It is measured in volts here. So this is what I like it. Work done per coulomb of charge. So what is the go back to electrostatics? Work done per unit charge. How you define any quantity? Potential, no? So therefore, what should be the unit of this EMF? EMF unit will be volt. That's why it has come volt. Negative charge will flow. For our convenience, we'll just take positive charge. It'll be much easier to analyze the problem. Because this, in fact, it's only negative charge which is flowing, not positive charge. I'm making things clear. Since our electrostatics, we all started with unit positive charge, unit test charge. Can you remember? I told you long back, whenever any discussion comes theoretical, we need unit test charge. the unit test charge, what we assumed was positive. But later on in the 19th century, we came to know that there is nothing called like a moment of displacement of positive charge. It's only the electron which undergoes displacement. Then all our concepts we have to change. So for that purpose, I'm just discussing only the displacement of the positive charge. But actually, practically, positive charge, nothing called like a displacement of positive charge. Is only the negative charge. So what do you mean by negative here? The excess of electrons. What do you mean by positive charge here? The deficiency of electrons. Okay, that. But you just think about only now unit test charge. So all our concepts, we should just think about only the unit test charge here. Okay, this one, why the unit should be volt? Work done per unit charge. Work done per unit test charge in moving it from infinity to that point slowly is called as a potential, no? So therefore, what will be the unit for EMF will become volt. Hmm? So that this, I'm highlighting it here because of this definition. Okay, now, will there be any potential differences set up as now, will there be further movement of charge as once FB equal to FE, no more movement of charge will occur. No movement of charge occur. How long it will be? As long as what happened, the battery force is balanced by electroshift, there won't be any further displacement of charge, and we'll get a constant potential difference. So what is VAB now? The VAB will become equal to applied EMF. So the battery is not connected, no, just left open like that. Fine. So this is the initial part of this one. So when the terminal voltage will become equal to applied EMF, when the cell is not connected to any external circuit, then the terminal voltage will become equal to applied EMF. So when I go and when I measure this terminal voltage, it is equal to the applied EMF. Okay, now let's connect some external circuit. We are discussing first ideal battery. Later on, I'll introduce the non-ideal battery. And there's a terminal A, there's a terminal B. I will connect a bulb or some wire. Your wish, anything you can take it. Some electric energy which will dissipate some electrical energy. They should be connected. Now what will happen? So chemical reaction occurs. The story you have to begin like this. Here chemical reaction occurs. Due to chemical reaction, no, a positive charge, what we assume. So that positive charge, what happen, the battery force, what happen, will display the positive charge from negative terminal to positive terminal. This one. So as this charge starts moving, so when it is available here, so that would happen here VA greater than VB, no? And there's a path, there's a wire. So if you leave a charge, the charge will happen. The positive charge wants to move from higher to lower potential. So this particular positive charge, now it starts moving. No, some sort of electromotive force. So here, what is work done by this particular force here? So come for this one, work done by the cell in moving a charge, work done by the cell, or battery force you can put it, work done by cell in moving a charge from A to B, so B to A. Any formula, this should be equal to charge into VA minus VB. And look at this force. So what all this battery force, what we call, it's an external force. It is an external force, similar to, it's not an electrostatic force. It's an external force or not an electric force, I'll write it. Or non-electric force, sorry. It's a non-electric force. You know electrochemistry. From there is what I am bringing all this concept. So this particular energy now, what it will do? Now the charge, what happen when the battery displaces a charge from negative to positive terminal? This much of work the battery does on the charge. Now the charge is possessing energy equal to how much Q into VA minus VB, as VA greater than VB. This energy what happen? With that energy what happen? This charge particle, the battery lifts or pushes the charge from negative to positive terminal. For that the battery does work. Work done by battery now is available as energy for the charge. With that energy what happen? The charge will pass through a wire. It will encounter a resistance. It will utilize that energy to overcome resistance. And here it will lose that energy in the form of heat. And it will come out. Once energy becomes zero, it will be attracted by negative terminal. This is what happens. So what this battery, continuously, it will again lift the charge. Again, it will energize it. It does work. By the time charge comes here, it will have energy. With that energy, it will go around the circuit here. It will lose that energy in the form of heat to overcome resistance. Again, energy becomes zero, will be attracted. So continuously, what the battery is doing, it is supplying energy to charge. And what the external circuit will do, will take that energy now. And what bulb does, it will convert the energy possessed by charge into heat. And the heat will be converted into the light energy. So like this, what this cell is doing, it is converting its chemical energy into electrical energy. And what this wire does, it will help the charge to flow through it. Then what the bulb does, it will take the energy from the charge particle, convert that into heat, and further the heat is converted into light energy. So this mechanism continues. Along this will continue as long as chemical reaction occurs. You know that for the chemical reaction to continuously occur, so there should be like the products also like the reactants must be there. So like this, will there be any lifespan for this cell? Yes, it will be there. So that's why you buy any dry cell. Will it work out for infinite time? No. Why after some days it will stop working? Why the cell will not work out? Because there won't be any fuel left over. There won't be any fuel left over inside the cell where the reaction will occur. Once the fuel gets over, no more reaction. No more reaction means no question of work done by the cell. No question of work done by the cell. No energy for the charge. So no question of heat or say like a electrical power supplied to the bulb. This was the mechanism it occurs here. Got this now? So work done by the cell is what now nothing but will be available as energy, and that is converted as heat across the bulb. Okay, now you see that one, there is a moment of positive charge across cell. No, the material of cell will offer resistance. So this resistance will introduce here. To the flow of charge, or upon this charge, in fact, we cannot move in a path which I shown. It has to overcome the resistance. So how the path of this particular, it will be slightly like this. Why do this zigzag path? Because the material will offer the resistance, sir, but the chemical liquid, even the liquid will offer resistance. When a molecule is moving, it will encounter collisions with adjacent molecules. So because of that, when the charge particle will experience a resistance. So this resistance is what we'll call it as, I'll just indicate FR here. So what is FR? The resistance force offered by the material to the charge particle. That everything what happen will represent by internal resistance of a cell. So here afterwards, now practically how do this circuit will appear? The circuit will appear like this. This is a practical circuit. This is B, this is A. This is what the bulb you have to show like this. This is a practical, and this is what the EMF. Now a current I will flow. The current I will flow. So according to the convention, positive, this should be negative. This should be positive, negative. Let's write the equation now. Let's write KVL. Uh, I'll write KVL plus E minus IR minus I into R equal to 0. So what is current I is equal to E by R plus small r. Let's write the terminal voltage VA minus E plus IR minus VB equals 0. So what is VAB equal to? E minus IR. Okay, look at now. Which voltage will be available for you? Only VAB is what available for the bulb. There's a bulb. If the battery is ideal, if the cell is ideal, then R will be 0. This is a practical one. So tell me like what is the power dissipated across the bulb? Let's go for power, electric power dissipated across bulb. Tell me what is the equation you write it. Power dissipated across bulb should be equal to I square R capital R. What is I is equal to? This should be E by R plus R. Because of internal resistance, no? There is some energy, say, what all earlier in case of ideal, the work done by the cell, there was no any opposition for the flow of charge. Practically, there opposition occurred. A part of energy, a part of work done by cell should be utilized to overcome that resistance. To overcome the resistance. So shall I put it, you know enough electrostatics, huh? Just multiply Q. Q into potential difference, you'll get energy, no? So what is Q into E? Work done by the cell. High into R, that is what energy available across the bulb. What is this high into small r, or this high into capital small r? This will be the drop across the resistance of a cell. Into multiply your charge. So some work is done to overcome this internal resistance. Okay, got this? So some work has to be done to overcome this internal resistance. So that's why the potential difference, now the terminal voltage will be less than applied EMF according to the KVL. Okay, come for this. You look at the power dissipated across the bulb. It's not equal to power generated by the cell. What is the power generated by the cell? Power, electric power generated by a cell. How much it is equal to? E into I. So which is equal to, this is then power dissipated by cell. Power dissipated by a cell. That will be internal resistance. So this we should write I square R. Check it now. Is it all power generated by cell? Will it be given to the bulb? The answer is no. Definitely the answer is no. A part of power what happened? Here what happened? The power generated by cell. A part of it given to the bulb. A part is taken by the resistance only. This is lost as heat. Lost as heat. This is an unwanted one. With this one, so now what happened? If internal resistance is more, then what happened? The particular cell is what happened is of not good quality. So what the cell will do, what all power generated by cell should go to the bulb. But here what is the problem? What all power generated by cell should be available across the bulb. Because of internal resistance happen, some power will be lost here. So shall we call efficiency? What do you mean by efficiency? What do you mean by efficiency? Power dissipated across the bulb by power generated by the cell. So what is the power generated across the bulb? So definitely it will be less than that of power generated by that. You can see from the equations here. So shall we discuss efficiency now? Will it be 100% or less than 100%? Less than 100%. So this is about some theoretical ideas. Let me just give one numerical. So it will be very easy for you. What all we are discussing now. Let me EMF of cell, let it be say 2 volt or 5 volt. Internal resistance of cell 1 ohm. The external resistance, let it be R 4 ohm. So it'll be much easier for us than the theoretical one. Okay, let's calculate first what is the current in this circuit. Plus, minus, plus, minus. So what is I is equal to? E by R plus R. Directly I am writing it. This is 5, 4 plus 1, 1 ampere. Let's calculate terminal voltage. So terminal voltage, we do write like this, no? VA minus E plus IR minus VB equals 0. So VAB equal to E minus IR. This should be equal to 4 volt. Let's power generated by cell. This should be equal to E into I. So E is how much? 5. I is how much? 1 ampere. 5 watt. For every 1 second, 5 joules will be generated. What is the power dissipated by the cell itself? That should be equal to I square R. What is I? 1 square. R is 1 watt. Power available across the external circuit. That should be equal to how much? I square R. 1 into 1 square into 4. Now I think things are very clear in front of you. Tell me, like, this is something lost, no? Where inside the cell itself, this much 5 watt it will generate, of which 1 watt will be taken by the cell itself. How much is made available? 4 watt. So tell me, like, what do you expect internal resistance? Should be more or less to improve the efficiency of cell? Should be internal resistance should be as less as possible. If small r is less, if there's some 0.1 ohm, small r equal to, if this internal resistance is 0.1 ohm, then this PR will be less, no? This will be less. Then more power will be made available to external circuit. So therefore, this is the power generated by cell, power dissipated by cell. This is the power available across the circuit. So here what we say now, if a current I leaves a cell, then we say it is discharging. We'll call this cell as charging, or supplying energy to circuit. Discharging you have to call, because it is supplying energy to circuit. Discharging or supplying energy to circuit. So this is what the power generated by cell. Now what you call should this one? Power dissipated by cell. Dissipated, it's over. Permanently lost. Power dissipated by a cell. This is what? Power supplied to external circuit. So when it's discharging means it is supplying energy to circuit here. Similarly, we'll go for this overall mechanism. So therefore, what is that internal resistance offered by the material of cell to the flow of charge? So what is actually overall phenomenon it occurs? Overall working, sir, how to you just summarize? So I'll switch on the cell. Then what happen here? The cell does work. So because of work done, what happen? It will lift the positive charge from negative to positive terminal. For that, it has to do work. No, see, go back to electrostatics. On its own, a charge can move from low to higher potential. Not possible, no? The positive charge can move from high to lower potential. So therefore here, somebody should help. The energy available due to reaction open will lift the charge from low to higher potential. That energy is given to the charge now. With that energy, the charge will go around the circuit. Here it encounters a resistance. It will give out that energy to overcome that resistance. Finish all. Then what happens once energy becomes zero, it will be attracted by the negative terminal. Then again what happens? The charge will be different. During its flow inside the material, the resistance of material, what it does, it will exert a force. It will oppose the motion of charge. So what the resistance will do of the material will oppose the flow of charge across the cell. So therefore that is called an internal resistance. And what it will do, it will oppose the flow of charge. So therefore that R is brought here, this one. So definitely what happens, a cell what happens, when it is transferring charge across B to A, it should overcome this resistance. So what do you expect? This R should be low value or high value? It should be, if it is as low as possible, it's a very good cell. If it's a high value, if you buy some Chinese products, no, this will be very large. That's why you see some, when you buy the Chinese mobiles, they say like, it will eat up soon, they say. It will eat up. So I think now you can experience that eating up here. So when you go for this Zoom class for 2 hours, your mobile will be very hot. No, any reason for that? The internal resistance. So if you buy the some Apple or some good Samsung, good quality mobiles, no, that one, then what when the internal resistance of cell or the mobile will be so designed that this as minimum as possible, then less heat will be generated in the equipment. That's why you look at the television, mobile, laptop. So what is all electrical equipments? They must have less internal resistance. If this internal resistance is more, it will damage. Very soon what happen? The equipment, what happen? The lifespan of that will decrease. So when you're purchasing the laptops, mobiles, so what is priorities? You have to somebody saying my phone or room heater. I don't know much about that phone. Maybe most of the Chinese mobiles, what happen, they offer for low price, but where do they compromise? They compromise on this. So what type of material they should use? They should use very high quality material. It will offer less resistance to the flow of charge. Definitely cost will increase. Definitely cost will increase. So this what happens here. So this should be as low as possible. A good cell, it should be that. If you see that we do when you purchase any remote car, no, some inbuilt recharge cells will be there. But you purchase Duracell, Eveready or Nipo, that means they will work better. The reason for that, the internal resistance. So as you go for a little bit higher price, no, the internal resistance will become minimum, and the performance of cell will be very good. That is about the theoretical background. So numericals will be very easy for you. Just you should have the numericals what I discussed, no, will be of this kind. Now look at the terminal voltage. When it's discharging, what is the terminal voltage? Will be less than applied EMF, no? Okay, now when now we have mobile, no? Inside the mobile battery, that battery you can also call it as a cell. Here I'll there's a rechargeable cell. It is what it is. It's a rechargeable cell. I will use I will recharge using a circuit here. So let this be the potential be V naught, where V naught is greater than applied EMF. I'll take that. Let me take directly the values. It'll be easier for us. So this is EMF of a cell is 5 volt. This is 1 ohm. Here, how much of this potential difference? It will offer us 8 volt. Let's assume that one. So this is a what happened charger. What is this? This circuit is what? Rechargeable cell. Now, which will be higher potential? This will be higher potential. So it will push current in this direction. This will be the direction of flow of current. This is a charger. Huh? This is a recharge. Now you tell me like, sir, like we are not understanding. So this is what you see AB, no? This is your mobile inside that battery. And this charger is what? The eliminator. What you connect to the wall, no? Socket, no? That is what this charger. This what you see EMF and this is the battery inside the cell is what I'm showing it here now. Let's write equation now. VA minus E plus IR minus VB equal to 0. Oh, some symbols, no? Minus IR it is. So this will become EIR. So what is this VAB? VAB is what? Equal to V naught. Can we calculate how much of current that is flowing? First we'll do one thing. This is VAB equal to V naught. So let's substitute here. 8 volt. This is 5. This is I. This is 1. So 8 minus 5, 3. So how much of current? 3 ampere it will flow. Okay, now let's look at this one. So when what is the state of this cell? You have to call this is a charging. Cell is charging, or shall I say it consumes, stores energy. Cell is charging or stores energy. Cell is charging or cell stores energy. That one. What is the like how much of power given by the charger? I'm coming to the mathematical part. Power supplied by charger. What is the power supplied by charger? Let me call P naught, which is equal to V naught into I. V naught is 8, and this is 3. 24 watt. And then what is the power stored by the cell? Power stored by a cell. I should write this is E into I. What is E equal to? The EMF of this is 5. Current is how much? 3. So how much it is? 15 watt. Then, so how much of actually this charger is supplying? 24 watt, in which what only 15 watt is what stored. The remaining how much? Remaining it is 9 watt. Where do that 9 watt gone? The 9 watt is what? Eaten by the cell itself. So power dissipated by a cell. This should be equal to PR, you write it. So this should be equal to how much? I square R. 3 square into 1, 9 watt. Tell me like which one is useful? This one is what useful, no? This is lost as heat, finish word. Lost as heat in cell. Tell me like both when cell charging, discharging, what that internal resistance will do? Will consume power. So whether you are charging or discharging, so what should happen that one? The internal resistance of cell should be as minimum as possible. Then only what happen, it's a good quality cell. That's why you see some mobiles, when you keep for charging of mobile, no, it will get heated up. What happened? Where wrong? The internal resistance of that. The battery which is there inside, no, that internal resistance of that. So how to test your mobile, whether it's a good quality or not? When you are using mobile, it should not eat up. When you are kept for charging also, it should not eat up. Then you can say it's good quality. You take Apple or Samsung. These are, I think, good branded. I don't know about other brands. So you check it, no? So there the power heat generated in the, when you are using Apple or the Samsung mobiles, no, will be far less compared to any other mobiles. The problem with this are, so what I should do with R, I should use good quality material inside that. For that, what happen? Little bit more amount we have to spend, and the good research has to be done. As you start using what happen, like it's maybe after 3, 4, 5 years, then what happen? The material what happen? It will lose its quality. It will lose its quality, it will lose its performance because of it will come. So at that particular point, what happens? Suppose after 4 or 5 years, when you put when you start using mobile, you charge it within half an hour. What happens? The whole 9 from 100% charging will become 10%. What happened? The internal resistance of that got increased. So you have to replace the battery. So a good mobile what happen will give the battery lifespan of 3, 4 years. That one. Ordinary mobile weapon will come within 1 month, 6 months, or 1.5, or so like a 1 year, 1.5 year. Good mobile, quality mobile, the lifespan of the battery will be around 4 years. Then what are the precautions we have to take it? Once it is charged fully, you have to remove, no? Once it is charged, you have to remove. If you don't remove it, what happen? So definitely what happen, the terminals here will get damaged. The material itself will get damaged here. So therefore, once it is under 90%, you have to remove it. And once it comes less than 15%, what happen? You have to charge it. So you should never use mobile less than 15%. When the battery indicates less than 15%, you should not use, you should put for charging. Then once it is charged at 90%, you should not do full charging. Anything will happen full charging. Yes, inside the material will open to a lot of stress will be generated inside the material. So therefore, the mobile what happen? Once if it is less than 15%, you should put for charging. Once more than 90%, you should stop charging. That will increase the battery lifespan. Okay, this is about the charging, discharging. So battery storing, all that one. So these are the examples. In quite number of numericals are there. So you can take help of this particular idea. Okay, let's take some circuit problems. So let this be 6 ohm, 5 ohm, 3 ohm, this 2 ohm. This is E1. $10 E2 5 volt. So these are the terminals A, B. This is CD. So these are the two cells are there. A, B are the terminals, C and D are the terminals. These are R1, R2 are external resistance. These are the internal resistance. Okay, let's find out first the current through the circuit. So the current will flow in this direction. Give polarity. Only for resistors you have to give polarity. Then what is the expression for I? Directly I'll write it E1 minus E2 by R1 plus R2 plus R1 R2. By applying KVL, I got this answer. So 10 minus 5, 10 minus 5 by, this will be 6 plus 5 plus 3 plus 2. This will be 1 by 3 ampere. 5 by 15, 1 by 3 ampere. Okay, let's calculate the terminal voltage VAB first. So what is the method? I'll write loop equation VA minus E1.
Sir, I by 16, sir.
What are the values I picked up? 16. I'll adjust the values. Wait. 1 ohm will make it. Check, no. 610. I want 15. Huh? Okay, no. 8, 4, 1, 2. So VA minus EIR1 minus VB equal to 0. Let's calculate VAB. E minus IR1. E1. E1 is how much? 10. 1 by 3 into 1. So 30. So 9.7 volt. Look at this one. It is less than the terminal. The applied EMF is, terminal voltage is less than applied EMF. Let's come for this cell. VC minus C minus IR2 minus VD equals 0. So VCD equal to E2 plus IR2. Value of E2 is 5, 1 by 3, and this is 2. So 5.67 volt. What is the state of this cell? Is it charging or discharging? Anybody? This is discharging, no? And what about this? This is charging. When both charging or discharging, what will be the terminal voltage? The terminal voltage will be less than applied EMF. Also will not be equal to applied EMF. So look at this one. When discharging, terminal voltage less than applied EMF. When it is charging, terminal voltage will be greater than applied EMF. Then what is the power generated by the cell 1? E1 into I. What will happen to it? What all power generated by cell 1? A part of it will be dissipated by itself. And the remaining will be given to the circuits and this particular cell. So let's go for some power generated by a cell. So I'll write it here. Power generated by a cell E1. What it should be equal to? Power dissipated by a cell E1 plus power given to external circuit plus power stored in a cell E2 plus power dissipated in cell E2. Will I agree this? You check it all. What is the power given to the cell E2? E2 into I. Is it all the energy stored? No. A part of power stored in a cell is what happened? E2 into I. And a part of power will be taken by the cell itself. I into I square into R2. So if you check all, this will be, what is the equation? This should be E1I. Power divided by cell. This should be I square R1. External, this will be useful power. This will be useful. I'll use this to lighting the room, for boiling water. This will be what? Power stored. This will be E2 into I. This will be stored. What about this? This will be again lost. This will be lost as E2. This will be lost as, this will be useful, no? Will be stored. This will be supplied. Are you getting, no, this one? So what that cell 1, what it does? It will convert chemical energy. The cell 1 will convert chemical energy into electrical energy. And that energy is, a part of energy will be taken by the cell itself, will be lost as it. Remaining energy output will be given to external circuit. A part is given to another cell where it will store. It's like you can select it's charging, store. And again, a part of energy will be, when you are charging this cell also, some energy will be lost across its internal resistance. So these two are lost, you see. So when cell is charging or discharging, due to internal resistance open, it is going to lose some energy. So therefore, what type of a cell you have to really manufacture with internal resistance is 0. Practically not possible. So you take any cell, it must have internal resistance. And efficiency of cell can never be 100%. What is the best cell? Which will have least internal resistance. Got the idea? So this is about the internal resistance of a cell is what this comes. And you should not connect the cell in this way. Means the internal resistance don't show like this. Sir, you only said internal resistance. I'm bringing inside. This will be wrong. What is the correct representation? You have to this, can you connect a bulb here? Anybody? Will you agree with this circuit? Can you connect a bulb? Sir, I will connect a bulb in such a way that I'll give one more circuit. They can ask you such questions of possible electrical circuit. There's the internal resistance. There's the EMF of a cell. Sir, no. Is it possible to do connection like this? So that we can avoid internal resistance. Is it possible to construct a cell without material? What is the internal resistance? What do this smaller indicates? It's a material of a cell. So can you have like a Daniell or Laplace cell without electrical solution, without chemical solution? Can we have electrolysis? Not possible, no? So this will be wrong diagram. Huh? This will be wrong diagram. So what is the correct diagram? The correct diagram should be like this. So we can never eliminate internal resistance of a cell. That's what he's saying. So you just do have problems related to this. I'll go for next, the bulb concept, bulb fusing all. Next, the short circuit, open circuit. First we'll discuss the idea of open circuit. This is a cell. If I don't write any small r, it is considered as ideal cell. These are the terminals, or write XY. I left it open. I just left it open. What conditions will do arise here? So what is the resistance of this air? Will take it to be infinity. So Rxy will be infinity. Then let's write loop equation plus E minus I into Rxy, or minus xy minus of I into R equals 0. I have to show infinity, no? I into Rxy minus I into R equals 0. So what is the expression for I? E by R by Rxy. What is the resistance of open circuit terminal? Infinity. So anything by infinity will be 0. So no current flows. Will there be any potential drop? Yes, there will be potential drop. So you write loop equation. Vx minus Ey minus 0 into R, no current, minus Vy 0. So what is Vxy? I'll get E. So with this, what it shows? Vx greater than Vy. So look at the situation. There is a potential drop, but no current through it. This is called like an open circuit. Means now, sir, like I'll bring open circuit somewhere like this. Where is open circuit? Open circuit is brought here. No, this is a E. So is there any for the current to, is there any path for the current? There's no path for the current to flow here. That's why no current is flowing in the first circuit. There's no path. That's why no current here. So look at this part here. The current can pass through this particular loop, no? What about current here? Open circuit, infinite resistance. So current cannot flow. So this particular bulb, if they know, will not glow here. So what do, if I draw the thing, the current will take a path like this. I, this is I, this is the path. Then what is I is equal to? I is equal to E by R. E by R1. I want the potential drop. Anybody? How to get the potential drop? Again, the same method. Huh? Don't bother anything. Just take help of KVL. Vx. Current, it enters and it leaves, no? Minus IR1 minus 0 into R2 minus Vy equals 0. So what is Vxy is equal to IR1. And what is IR1 should be equal to E. Or instead of this, you can pick up path like this. What is the path I just picked up? Plus Vx minus IR1 0 into R2 minus Vy 0. You can also pick up path like this. No, nothing. Plus Vx minus E 0 into R2 minus Vy. You'll get the same answer. Or minus E minus 0 into R2 minus Vy is 0. So this shows that Vx greater than Vy. This is like an open circuit. So means what is the conclusion? In a branch where there's open circuit, no current flows. No current flows in a branch where there is an open circuit. This is the conclusion. No current I'll conclude here. No current flows in a branch where there is an open circuit, or no current flows in an open circuited branch. Okay, this is about the open circuit. So let's go for short circuit idea. Circuit, I write symbol CKT. Let me introduce a short circuit. This is a switch. It's a wire. Initially, will there be any current as the current will flow like this? This is a path for the current, plus minus, plus minus. So what is I is equal to E by R1 plus R2. Now I'll short circuit. I'll short circuit the second resistor. This is a wire, it's just one simple wire. What will happen to the current in the circuit? What is the path it will take? That way. So the current here, this I plus minus. So what is I is equal to? So call I dash. Some other current, new current it is. E by R1 only. So look at this. So here the current will come like this. It will flow through resistor R1. Then what happens? Here there are two paths are there. One R2, other is the short circuit path. Then always the current will follow the least resistance path. No, the current always likes a path which will have least resistance. So this having 0 ohm. So the whole current I dash will pass through like this. Practically what happen, even suppose say R2 say 100 ohm, this is 0.1 ohm. Almost the 99.99% current will pass through it. Let's talk ideal 0 ohm. The whole current I dash will flow through this short circuit path. What is the current through R2? Though you have connected it, no current flows. Means sir, I'll remove it. Yes, it doesn't make any difference. Whether this R2 is present or not, it doesn't make difference. In a element, if there's no current flows, no, as good as you can remove from the circuit. So this is called like a shorted. What is the idea? This is called like a shorted. So if it's a bulb, if R1, R2 are bulb, then which bulb will glow, which will not glow? The bulb 2 will not glow here. Because if we have shorted it, the bulb 1 will glow that one. So if you compare the intensities, so can you say anything about the intensity that one? What happened to intensity of bulb 1? Will it increase or decrease? Yes, definitely it will increase. More current flows, more brighter. So when you short this bulb to S, this will have more brightness here. Okay, got this. So this is about the short circuit and this one. So let's enter into the bulb concept. So whenever you purchase any bulb, this is a tungsten filament bulb. What usually we discuss that one. So whenever we purchase any bulb, so on the bulb, what are the things it will be written? The wattage, the power, and also what happened, the voltage, the maximum voltage and the maximum power. These things will be written. Let's take example. I purchased a bulb which is of 10 watt and the maximum voltage is 20 volt. Any voltage greater than this, the bulb what happen will burn out. And 10 watt bulb, 20 watt bulb, 30 watt bulb, and there's a maximum voltage. Usually this will be 240 volt. If the US, it will be 110. If the India, it will be 240 volt. For sake of calculation purpose, I assume the lower values. This one. So from here, what is the resistance of a bulb equal to V max square by R. We'll calculate. So what is R is equal to resistance of bulb V max square by P max. What is V max? 20 square by 10. This will be 40 ohm. This is the resistance of a bulb. And now when I connect this bulb across a cell whose potential is say 10 volt, then what conditions will arise? The same bulb I'll connect here. How much of power will be dissipated? So what is the resistance? So the same power rating. The same bulb, no? And the same bulb I'll connect across a cell with potential potential difference 10 volt. As a current I will flow. This having a resistance R. What is the resistance R given by this? So what is the power dissipated in the bulb? P should be equal to I square R. P should be equal to I square R. So what is I is equal to? E by R. 10 by 40 or 1 by 4 ampere. This will be 1 by 4 whole square. What is the resistance of bulb? Is 40. 40 by 16. 10 by 4. 5 by 2 or 2.5 watt. Now look at that one. What is the maximum power? It was 10 watt, no? What is the brightness of bulb? Will be less than the maximum brightness, or greater than the maximum brightness? Less than. So can I increase this voltage across the cell? S, I'll make it 15. Like that open, I can increase this voltage. When the bulb will have maximum brightness, when the applied EMF is 20 volt, then it will have maximum brightness here. So as I keep on increase this applied EMF, 10, 12, 15, 16, what happened to brightness of bulb will increase. So what will happen if I connect 25 volt? 20 volt is there, no? I kept 10 volt. Let me connect the same bulb across a cell. Just say information based, like there's no much big formulas are there. You should understand what is the basic idea involved. You can manage, and it's a very popular, both mains advanced, the questions are very popular. Now the EMF of cell, let me make it 25 volt. Even just 21 volt also, we can discuss the problem. What is the current in the circuit? Let the current flowing, let it be, say I1. So what is I1 is equal to E by R, 25 by 40, 5 by 8. Let's calculate the power dissipated here. P1 equal to I square R, I1 square R. So this will be 5 by 8 whole square into R. Value of R, we got it 40, no? Anybody value P1? $125 by 8. Anybody value P1?
15.625.
15.625.
15.625. What is the maximum permitted power? 10 watt, no? But how much it is there? 15 point. What will happen to bulb? The bulb, what happen, will get damaged. The filament will burn out, then become open circuit and current will become 0. So what will happen here is greater than P max. What happen? Bulb gets damaged. Damage means what it will become? It will become like this, a circuit. Inside the filament itself in place of bulb, now what you should assume? An open circuit. no current will flow, no, because what is R? R will become now infinity because it will become open circuit. I think this is what happens nowadays. We have LED bulb, but if you just purchase any filament one, no, so you do get like this. This will become open circuit. The bulb, what happens, gets damaged permanently. It's over. You have to throw this in dustbin. So when the power dissipated across bulb greater than P max, the power rating. What is this P max? This called like a power rating, and this called like a voltage rating. So when the power dissipated across bulb greater than power rating, it will get damaged. Or when you connect a bulb across like a source whose voltage is greater than the maximum voltage rating, the bulb will get damaged here. So what is the safe thing now? So whenever you get a bulb, so it will be written, no? These terms will be written. So we have to see that what are the source, what we are connecting across them. They should not be greater than the maximum voltage rating. That has to be taken care of, that one. So it can be that one. So power dissipated less than power rating, then the bulb is safe. So when bulb is safe or not safe, how you decide? When the power rating, when the power dissipated across bulb less than P max, bulb is safe. So the technical words, these are things P max. So what is the thing now? Bulb is safe. So what about P1? P1 greater than P max. Bulb is not safe. Not safe means got damaged. Okay, let's take some few questions related to. We discussed with only one bulb, no? Now we'll introduce more than 2-3 bulbs. And there are 2 bulbs are there. I'll connect across them 220 volt supply. No, it's telling which will have more brightness. So I'll connect them in series. So let me next, I'll connect them in parallel. This is some very, very important concept I'm trying to generate here. The same bulbs, I'll connect them in series, then I'll connect them in parallel. This you call bulb B1, this B2. Which will have more brightness.
B2.
First of all, we will calculate the resistance of bulb. First, we'll calculate the resistance of bulbs. What is the resistance of bulb? First, we need data. We'll calculate the resistance. So how to calculate the resistance of bulb? We know power rating. So this will be 100. Power equal to V square by R, no? So 220 square by R1. So R1 equal to 22 square. Yeah. Any value R1? 50 equal to 220 whole square by R2. Anybody give value of R1, R2? Anybody?
484 to 42.
484 242. Okay, these are the resistance of the bulb. Now when I connect it, a current I will flow. No? The same current I will pass through both the bulbs because they are in series. No, their series.
484 968. Sir, R2 is 968.
968, sir, R2.
To 968. 968 ohm. Okay, now what is the power dissipated in the bulb? We'll check it. P1 equal to I square R1. P2 equal, no need of calculate, we can directly look at this one. So I'll divide these two, P1 by P2. The same current, no? The one which is having, so R1 by R2. So definitely, shall we put P1 greater than P2? No, sorry, P2 greater than
P2 greater.
P2 greater than P1. So here R2 greater than R1. So P2 greater than P1, which will have more brightness. The one which is having less power rating. Getting the idea? This is no, don't bother. Which will have more brightness. What is the brightness? Who will determine brightness? The power dissipated across bulb is directly proportional to brightness. This is a golden rule. Power dissipated, brightness of a bulb. Brightness of a bulb is directly proportional to power dissipated across the bulb. I think this was not like a power rating of a bulb. Am I right? I think this is really troublesome. Books, what happen? They just, in some of the book, they mention brightness of bulb is related to power across the bulb. The students, they get confused. No, power rating is different. Power dissipated is different. It will have power rating. You check it now. Power rating are 100 watt, 50 watt. Then you look at this one. In across which bulb the power dissipated is more, across the bulb 2. So therefore what will happen here? So the brightness of bulb 2 will be more. So when you connect two bulbs in series, the one which will have lower power rating will have more brightness. Sir, is it both bulbs safe? Anybody? Can you answer? Yes, definitely no. What all applied voltage will be shared by them. So you have the resistances here. Apply potential divider formula, check the drop across both the bulbs. It will be less than the maximum voltage rating. So both the bulbs are safe. That also we have to check it. The bulb should be safe and it should have more brightness. So when the bulbs are connected in series, the one which will have lower power rating will have more brightness. I'll bring them in parallel. So when I connect them in parallel, current I, it will branch out. This will be I1, this will be I2. What is the power dissipated across each bulb? So instead of calculating I1, I2, directly I know the potential drop. What is the potential drop? 220 volt only. This applied voltage. So power dissipated P1 equal to E square by R1. P2 equal to E square by R2. Look at here now. So P1 by P2, R2 by R1. Again the same. R1, R2 will it be same or different? Anybody? The resistance of bulb will not change. No, when you connect them in series parallel, the resistance depends on what? Depends upon the material of conductor. The same resistance, sir, you should change R1, R2. No, the resistance of bulb will remain same. The same bulbs are connected now in parallel. And we know R2 greater than R1. So what will happen? P1 greater than P2. When they are connected in parallel, which will have more brightness? The one which is having more power rating. When they're connected in series, the one which is having less power rating will have more brightness. There's a one formula, there's a different here. There's a thing. So here I'm just comparing series parallel. The same bulbs when they're connected series parallel, which will have more brightness here. So here 50 watt bulb will have more brightness. B2 bulb 2 will have more brightness. So here bulb 1 will have more brightness. Or they'll ask you which will be dim. I think the one which is having lesser brightness, we should call this a dim. No? Bright, the bulb is glowing brightly. It's a dim, they say, D-I-M, dim. Less brightness, we call it as a dim. Okay, let's introduce the these are very popular and very important. You check advanced means both the exam they're asking plenty of time they ask, not one, two, plenty of times. Just some different types of numericals you practice now, you'll get an overall picture. And there's a bulb A, B, C, and D. Now he's asking, compare all the bulbs are identical. Compare the brightness of 4 identical bulbs There's the first thing. Second one, what happens? What happens if bulb A fails? So that it cannot conduct. What if C fails? What if D fails? What do you mean by fails? The bulb itself, what happen? It will become open circuit. Fails means open circuit. You can write it here. Fails. Fails means the particular filament what happen will get cut, then become open circuit. Okay, compare the brightness of 4 identical bulbs. He's asking first, the first part of the problem. We'll go for it. Now look at the wires. You have to be careful with the wires. How the current? So we'll go for distribution of current. So current I will come. All are identical. All compare the brightness of 4 identical bulbs. So what do you mean by that? All the bulbs will have same resistance. Yes, all must have same resistance. R, 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 and R. Now the current I, so it's as good as like a 4 resistors connected. So don't say if you find very difficult to in place of bulb, you replace resistance of bulb and work out problem, series, parallel, or KCL, KVL you applied. So current here it will branch out. Current here it will branch out. So call this is I1. Here let this be I2. So then this current I1 will take part like this. So I1 plus I2. And that should become equal to I. And It is like this. No current will flow through this. Anybody? Why no current will flow through the bulb D? Because there is a short circuit path, no? Shall I say it's a shorted? Shorted means not got damaged. The wire will not permit because there's a low resistance path. Here is what you have, a low resistance path. No current will pass through this bulb here, and there's a current I1. See, you should have patience, nothing else there. Just divide the current through all the branches. So why the current I1, why not I1 will branch? There's a low resistance path. There's a low resistance path. So here the current I1 cannot branch here. It's having a low resistance path, so it will take like this. And why not current I? So there's a low resistance path, no, it will go like this. So no current through the bulb D. So bulb not got damaged. There's no current through it. So brightness will be 0. Always say the bulb D got shorted. That's why no current through it. That's why it will not glow. So first thing I'll put like this. Bulb D is shorted. No current through it. So brightness of bulb D is 0. It will not glow. Bulb D. B means brightness I'm taking. Okay, let's come for this one. What about brightness of bulbs A and B? Brightness of A and B should be same, no? Can we compare with C? Anything how to compare? What is the drop across the bulb C? Should be equal to E only. What about the drop across the bulb A and B? It will be E by 2. On what basis I'm saying? I'm asking you to go back and redraw the circuit. This will be the bulb C. The whole circuit now will appear like this. There's a bulb A, B, and C. What all the applied EMF, I think, will be shared directly by the bulb C, no? And what all the applied EMF will be shared equally by these two, E by 2 and E by 2. So what is the drop? Drop here will be E by 2. The drop here will be E by 2. Any formula for this? Potential difference formula? Tell me like now. Come for power dissipated equal to power dissipated formula what? V square by R, since we know potentials. So therefore what we can say that which is having more brightness, BC will be greater than, brightness of bulb C will be greater than that of A and B. B means brightness. B indicates brightness. Like this, you have to just draw a circle. Actually, if you're getting confusion, write R. Here you replace one resistor R in place of this. Here also R. Then work out series parallel one. Let's come for second situation. What happens if bulb A fails so that it cannot conduct? What should be the circuit diagram? What will be the circuit diagram? Bulb A fails to conduct, means it's like an open circuit, no? So where all bulb is there you put open circuit. This bulb B is there still. This is a bulb D, C, and this is B. What is the path of current? Trace the path of current. So current I will take path like this. See, by seeing better, don't go for by seeing and predicting answer. Very simple circuit, you can do it. So what is I is equal to? I equal to E by R. So all the voltage will drop across this one. No? Let R be the resistance of each bulb. Let's assume. So what is the no current? So what is the brightness of the bulb B and D? Will be 0. A will not glow, B will not glow, D will not glow, and then the C will have maximum brightness. Okay, this bulb fails. Fails means you have to assume like this. This is the condition. Now, what if C fails? So what if C fails means bulb C make it open circuit. What if D fails? I'll discuss the third case. Okay, third one. What if C fails? So therefore I should show these two bulbs B, A. C fails means put open circuit in place of C. So what is the path of current? The path of current I, this will be I. The current will take path like this. And there's an open circuit, so no current flows in open circuited branch. And this is shorted. So what will happen to brightness of bulb A and B? They'll be equal. Here only let me conclude. Brightness of A and B will be equal. And what is the brightness of bulb C and D? Why bulb C will not glow? Because it got damaged. Fails means what happened? Got damaged. Why got damaged? We don't know. Got damaged, that's all. And this is shorted. There's a different reasons are there. Bulb D will not glow. It is good working condition, but it was shorted. Bulb C got damaged. That's why it was open circuit. Third case, if bulb D fails. Bulb D fails means I should put an open circuit. This is the B, C, and this is the whatever the flow of current, the current again will branch out. I1, say I1, this I2. So brightness of bulb C will be greater than that of A and B. So it got damaged, no? Okay, fine. So these are the some types of numericals what you can expect with the bulbs here. So they just treat them as a resistor. Finish out, nothing big. Where all bulb comes, you have to treat like a resistor. Let me discuss the idea of fuse one. Fuse means it's a wire, huh? Nothing big. Just I will show it. Fuse means it's a wire. The resistance of all bulbs are identical. Let this be 8 volt. All bulbs are identical, and the resistance of it and the resistance of them be 25 ohm. The maximum current through a fuse is 13 ampere. How many bulbs we can connect? So what is the maximum possible current permitted across the fuse? It is 13 ampere. And what is the EMF of the source? 8 volt. And the resistance of each bulb is how much? All bulbs are identical. The resistance of them is 25. How many bulbs we can connect like this?
Huh?
No. Yeah, like this. How many bulbs we can connect before the fuse blows? What is the fuse? It's a wire. Huh? Just it's a copper wire. So what it does, there's some maximum permitted current. If the current becomes more than the maximum value, so it will burn out. The E generated will be such that it will burn out and will become open circuit. Fuse is a wire. It's a wire. This is like a fuse. It's a wire where some maximum current is prescribed
40.
for the day. Yeah, okay, I'll check it now. Now, what is the fuse? Fuse a wire, that one. If any current greater than, if current through a fuse is more than maximum permitted current, the fuse will burn out. Burn out means what will become? It will become open circuit. So I'll put a condition. What is that? When current through a fuse. Fuse means it's a wire. When current through a fuse is greater than IM, the fuse will burn and becomes open circuit. So in house, what happen? All the connections are done parallel, and we say loading problem, no? So the technical words we use like this, overload. That's why the fuse got burnt. So that only is what I'm discussing now. So let's do one thing. We'll calculate current, nothing big. We'll calculate current. So current through them will be same, no? Current through each bulb should be same. So the total current through the fuse. So let me write IM. So what is IM? IM should be equal to NI. What is I? I should be equal to, it's connected parallel across a cell. So what is I is equal to? I is equal to, you're going to write it as E by R. What is E? 8 volt. This is 25. So what is value of, let me write it. So IM is given how much? 13. N, this will be 8 by 25. So N equal to 13 into 25 by 8. Anybody value?
40.62.
40.625.
40.62. So what shall I put in? 40 only. 0.62 bulb will not come. And if you put 41, the fuse will burn out. So 40, it's safe. So like that, we can connect 40 bulbs as will be safe. Sir, what if I connect 20 bulbs? No problem. The current through the fuse will be less than IN. The fuse will not burn out. I think this is a very good way of dealing with this one. Now you can ask question like, what is a fun year selecting one? Okay, you started everything fine. It will current more than that will burn out. Okay, don't look at the fuse. Huh? Let's look at these wires. These wires are very important. These are like electrical wirings, no, which will use to connect the different equipments. Now, those wirings, are there any upper limit of current? Yes. So if you look at the slots, no, these are the slots. It will start with 2 ampere, 5 ampere, 10 ampere, 20 ampere, 50 ampere. It all depends upon the application. 2 ampere is what the normal slots, what we use for mobile charging, everything. 5 ampere what will come for the mixer, the refrigerator. The 15 or 10 or 20 ampere, we use this for the air conditioners, the electrical heater, the engine, the water pump, all the, this is for higher industrial applications. Then to what happen for the fridge, okay, for the refrigerator, fan, tube light, what happen, we need 2 ampere. So the wiring should be 2 ampere wire. I'll be using 2 ampere wire. That one. Then for all the electrical heater, that one. Then air conditioner. So I'll go for 5 ampere one. The mixer, everything. Then 10 ampere for the higher applications where they need more power. So like that in ohm, what happen? We'll be doing wiring for 3 types of the currents flowing. Okay, this depending upon the equipment, what happen, the current has to be supplied. So for that, the wiring has to be done separately. Okay, clear this. So now here what will happen, these wires are problem. If the current through a wire is more than the permitted current, the wire will burn out. I think you see in the home, if the wire burns out, it's a big problem. No, you have to open the board, switch board, then you have to pull the wires, that one. So how to protect all these wires, the wiring in an home or in an equipment, everything, that one. The fuse is the best thing. So what should be the fuse? How I should calculate? I look at all the wirings, which I do. 2 ampere, 5 ampere, 10 ampere. Then how many circuit boards are there, slots, what happen? Keeping that, what happen? I'll pick up a copper wire, I'll connect it. So the fuse becomes what happens. Suppose if any excess current comes, what will happen? The first fuse will burn out. If fuse burn out, it will become open circuit. Then you protect all the equipments. So what is the fuse? How much it will cost you? Around, I think, 120 rupees. So sometimes when excess power comes, what happens? The eliminator will fall down, no? That particular thing will fall down. So it will fall down, then we'll go and open it again. So first what happen? Yeah, worst case what happen, the inside the wire in that fuse what happen will burn out here. Then it protect all that. If there's this fuse not there, tell me what will happen. If any excess current comes up, it will damage all the equipments, no? So what is the cost of fuse? Very less, no? Inside the fuse again, major element. If any excess current comes, the wire will burn out. So altogether we are safe, no? Okay, so just a small basic idea related to fuse like this, they can ask you. Now, let me give one more question so that you'll understand. Okay, let's take this question. This is a bulb. Where the voltage rating and the power rating given 1 watt. 21 volt, and the internal resistance of this will be 1 by 16 ohm. What should be the value of resistance R in the circuit so that electric bulb consumes the rated power. Okay, this is a bulb itself. So what is the rated power? 1 watt. What should be the power dissipated across this bulb? Should be 1 watt. For that, what should be the value of R? It's like a very generalized question I'm asking here. So shall we calculate the resistance of bulb? So what is the resistance of bulb? We'll calculate. So 1 watt should be equal to 3 square by RB, no? So what is RB equal to? 9 ohm. There's the EMF, there's the R will take it. Then can we calculate how much of current? I1, let this be I2. So what is the drop? The drop should be 3 volt. The drop should be 3 volt only. So can we calculate I1? 3 volt should be equal to I1 into RB. So what is I1 is equal to? 3 equal to I1 into 9. So I1 equal to 1 by 3 ampere. Let the total current flowing through the circuit be I. Next, what should be the value of R? So that these are the conditions that are there. I should get the how much of power dissipated here should be 1 watt. So we got the value of I1. So what is I2? I2 you can write I minus I1. So plus minus. So let's write the loop equation. Plus E minus of I2R minus of I into R equal to 0. Now what is I2? I2 we can write it as I minus I1. Do we know value of I1? Yes, we know E, we know smaller, we don't know I and capital. These are known things. So let me write one more loop equation. Plus C minus I1 into RB, I1 into RB minus of I into R equal to 0. Do we know value of C? Yes, it is. Do we know value of I1? Yes, we know resistance of bulb. We know smaller, we'll get the value of I. That value of I I'll substitute here. I'll get the capital R, which is unknown thing we can determine. R will come 7 ohm. Check answer. I'll give one more problem. There's a 10 ohm resistance. There's a fuse. So some books, they show fuse like this. Inside a box, they'll put a one wire, thick wire. It is understood it's a fuse. The maximum and the resistance fuse, let it be 4 ohm. Imax equal to 8 ampere. And the current flowing through the circuit, it is 2T. this is cell. We don't know much information about this. So what we have to, and what is the maximum possible current through the fuse is 8 ampere. So what is the maximum possible current through fuse is I am equal to 8 ampere. It's telling find the current through 10 ohm resistor at t equal to 1 second, t equal to 6 seconds. He is not saying there's a maximum permitted current through the fuse. Okay, some very important formula I'm going to introduce called as current divider formula. What is the basic idea of this? If you know current in one branch, you can tell current of other branch, particular thing. So here, so what is I1 is equal to I into, I'll give formula separately here. If there are two resistors are there, R1, R2. If you know current in main branch, what about the current in sub branches? The formula is given by I1 equal to current in main branch, the resistance of other branch by sum of resistance. Similarly, the current I2 is equal to I into R1 by R1 plus R2. Like how we have voltage divider, no? This is about the current divider formula. I just applied Ohm's law, nothing big. Capital I is equal to I1 plus I2, then I1 R1 equal to I2 R2. The current in the sub branches is given by this particular thing. So we have to take help of this formula, or stay, you can apply KVL, KCL. It's not that you must apply these things. So you can apply even KCL, KVL also. Okay, this is cell. At what time the fuse will burn out shall we work out here? So I2 is equal to, I'll write down the formula, I into, so call the resistance R, the resistance of RF, resistance of fuse. This is 4 ohm. No? Some R1 you write it, and RF. So I into, what is I2? I2 you can write it as I into R1 by R1 plus RF. So this should be equal to 2T. R1 is 10. This will be 10 plus 4. 20T by 14. What is the maximum permitted value of I2? When I2 becomes equal to Im, we'll calculate the time, T naught I'll call. T, let it be T naught. So this should be equal to 8, 20T by 14. Anybody value T naught?
5.6.
5.6 seconds. The fuse will burn out. The fuse, agree this? This will be, so it's asking now, find the current through 10 ohm resistor at t equal to 1 second. At t equal to 6 seconds, what actually happens? At t equals 6 seconds, T will be greater than T naught, the fuse will burn out, no? If fuse burns out, what conditions will arise? Open circuit, then all the current will flow through only the 10 ohm. So I'll start with the problem first. T equal to 6 seconds. At t equal to 6 seconds, the fuse will burn out. I2 will be greater than Im, and the fuse burns out. If the fuse burns out means what you should do? In place of fuse, what happens? You should replace with an open circuit. So only this resistance R1 is there, and there's a current. Calculate that one at t equal to 6 seconds. So all the current will pass through this one only, no? So what is I is equal to 2 into 6, 12 ampere. Now at t equal to, next is asking at 1 second. Now what is the state of fuse? Fuse, will it be there or will it burn out? At t equal to 1 second, the fuse will not burn out. T, so calculate the resistance. No, this will be. So here a current I2 dash, I1 dash will be fluid. The fuse will be safe. In place of fuse, you have to write open circuit. Got the idea? So the different types of numericals will come. Just stick on to basic. The KCL, KVL, series, parallel. Nothing big, no ideas will be there. So everywhere open, you are just, all the things will just revolve around the basic formulas what you learned. So what is I1 dash? Formula should be equal to, I1 dash should be equal to I into RF by R1 plus RF. At t equal to 1 second, so this will be 2. RF value is how much? 4 ohm. 10 plus 4. 8 by 14 or 4 by 7. This much will be the current to the resistance. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue. So today I'll post few more problems on fuse. Tomorrow we'll continue on. Okay, thank you all of you. Take care, bye, safe. Okay, see you all of you.